Rolling, rolling. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, and welcome to this video of my review on Avengers Endgame. I just got back from seeing it, literally just like minutes ago. I want to get this review spoken about, it's all fresh in my head and everything. If you're wondering though if this is a spoiler free or is there's going to be any spoilers, it's both. First part here is a spoiler free review. And if you're wondering if you just want to jump to the spoiler part, for just like opinions, or if you don't care about the movie and just want to hear from my perspective, it's gonna be quick and short here, the spoiler free, because I don't think there's anything I can say about the movie too much without getting into spoiler territory. So right here, then I'm gonna say, we're getting into spoiler parts, okay? But if you want to not get spoiled just yet, where you want my quick opinion upon the movie. Now, first off, it was an amazing movie. It was awesome. It was epic. It was everything you wanted it to be, and dim sum. I couldn't put it in any other words than such. I mean, there's like just the score, the acting, the locations, the CGI, in it all. It was just so well done. It wasn't too much or too little of anything there. It was just all just perfect. I find. Not to say it was perfect, but to say it was as close as you probably would want this movie to be. It was, it was that. It was amazing. It was. I'm not much of a man who cries at movies, but there was one scene that I had like a tear, just a bit of a tear. Talk more about that in the spoiler part. But yeah, it's just like everything about that scene, the acting, the scenery itself, the score, just all of it just brought a tear to my eye of it all. Just these past many years of being introduced and following the adventures of these characters and whatnot. It was all led to just a beautiful point here at Avengers Endgame. The second part to Infinity War, which Infinity War was something, and this was something else, and in a good way. But yeah, I think that's all I can say without getting into spoiler territory. I'm gonna say it right now. We're getting into spoiler territory here. So if you don't want to be spoiled in any way, end it now. Go see the movie and come back. Okay. Okay. Well, starting off, wow. Woo, we started off. We get introduced into Burton Hawkeye's family a good bit more here. We see him with his daughter training her how to use a bow and arrow. She uses it. She goes to go get the arrow. He's like, "Go get the arrow," and he looks at his wife and his two kids like, "Okay, yeah, we're about to be there." Turns back to see her. Let's go get our food, and it's just she's gone. And you can see all this just dust in the air. You tell, oh, it happened. It happened. He's wondering where his daughter is, and then just turns around and see his wife and his two boys gone too. He's like, the hell is going on? The fuck? After we get the intro title, well, not I guess not intro title, but the Avengers logo part. Not Avengers, sorry, apologies. The Marvel logo. And then we're like in space with Tony Stark and Nebula, and going about their time playing paper football. They got that little triangle paper flicking it, and he's teaching her how to play it and everything. She wins it in 3-2. And it's just you have that overall scene of him just out of it, just gone and just in space, gas out of the ship and just air about to go. He passes out, and Nebula props him up in one of the seats. Next thing you know, here comes Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, all glowing and whatnot. In which he brings that she brings that ship to Earth. And that scene where you see like the four people. You got Natasha, you got Cap, you got damn it, Hulk dude, Banners. You got Banners there, and you got Rhodes. And the way they edited it was to leave a character out, yes, and it was not in the way in which you thought. You thought it was like a space around them, but it was actually in front of them was the person, and it was Gwyneth Paltrow's character, Tony's wife or girlfriend, soon to be wife, fiance, you could say, I guess. I'm gonna take a couple drinks here and there. Ah, so excited to speak about this. And then, I was sitting there talking about it, about what happened and everything. Tony's in a wheelchair with an IV because he looks just whittled away, just skin and bone. He looks thin as hell because he was in that spaceship for so long and just very little food and water and everything and stuff. And he's battering him and Captain America against each other about what happened, and Tony's just throwing out that hate and anger at Cap because he wasn't there and stuff. Feels still betrayed about what happened in Civil War that led to the events that went about in Infinity War. Infinity War. Yeah, all the infinities of Infinity War, Infinite Warfare, Infinity War. My tongue's gonna get twisted here, trying to say the right thing of in between war and ward. Sorry, but yeah, they talk about that. He passes out and stuff, and they get to talking about where possibly Thanos can be, and they detect the same snap. Guess what would be considered just the molecules and everything, just the aftermath in which you. Sorry, got a burp. There we go. That didn't want to come out, and did at the same time. It's like they detect, just like this. I don't know how to put it in words. Like they see scientifically how this snap affected in a cosmic level, in a kind of molecular level, I guess you would say maybe. And they detect it happen again 2 days later on another planet where they assume Thanos is. They go to Thanos to find the stones. They get to him. That's where you see him in the spaceship and have act, teaming up with Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, and they find him, find the gauntlet. They surprise him, get his hand chopped off. Well, I guess this hand, right? Yeah, this is the hand that has the gauntlet. Oh, it should be the right hand, right? Yeah, it's the right hand that has the gauntlet. I swear to God, they cut off the left hand. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm trying to remember, and because there's so much in there, I'm trying to basically use Yahoo here. Yahoo search in his mind, and that's just like on Windows 98. Slow, slow, slow. But yeah, they cut off the hand with the gauntlet on it. They pin him down and ask, you know, where are the stones? Because they're not in the gauntlet. Apparently, that second snap that they figured out where he was, because of that stuff, he snapped again 2 days later to destroy the stones. He used the stones to destroy the stones. And, they see that happen, and a couple of seconds later, Thor finally went for the head. Yeah. Took his head right off. So then we fast forward a couple of years later. And the funny thing is, if you want to call it that, I thought it was kind of weird, but the way that Scott Lang, Ant-Man, comes back is because, like, on the controls that were supposed to be used to bring him back, a rat just happens to hit just, the right thing to bring him back. And then he goes, so then, he goes searching for everything, where's his family, what happened, and everything. He finds out that, the three that were there with him that were supposed to bring him back, and everything, they're gone. His daughter is older and everything. No sign of his ex-wife and her husband. You see when you saw in Ant-Man and Ant-Man 2. Yeah, no sign of them. So I'm guessing they were gone. They got snapped out of existence somehow. Maybe. Because all you do is you find the kid, and she's much older. She's a teen. And enter Scott Lang into the Avengers compound, where she tells them, basically Nat and Cap, because all the other Avengers are off doing their own thing. And he tells them about, there's a possibility with the quantum realm. So that, yes, if people were curious, That is how they do the whole time travel thing. Because since the stones are gone in that timeline, they got to go back in time, basically on a different timeline, to get those stones to snap everybody back into existence who were snapped out of existence. And so they get everybody back. Thor put on a bit of a weight. He felt he fell because he didn't go for the head when he should have. When Thanos did have these stones that snapped everybody out of existence. So yeah, he felt that he failed everybody in the universe who wasn't there anymore. He feels like it was all on him, so he's just recluded to this like little area where basically what somewhat remains of the Asgardians on Earth, and he basically just drinks beer and play video games. They gotta have a funny moment there about it. Like one, they were playing Fortnite, and the big rock dude from last Thor movies talking to him, saying like, "That kid's back again," saying that he fucked my mother or something. I don't remember what the context was. Like he said he insulted this kid, insulted the rock kid, and then Thor puts on the mic and is like, "Hey, if you don't get off this game, I'm going to find you, whip your arms off, and shove them up your ass." He literally does say that. The kid's like, "Stop crying, cry to your daddy." He says that on the mic. And there's no one on the other side of the mic, but still, it's funny to think about it. It was, Ooh. But they trick Thor into coming and help them and stuff. Now, Scott, who is the one experiment first with the time travel, because originally I got ahead of myself there. Let me go back real quick. They did try to get Tony. Tony's still alive. Like he said, he was brought back to Earth. Him and Nebula, via Captain Marvel, and he's recluded to this building in which he's with his wife, played by Gwyneth Paltrow. Pepper Potts, that's the character's name. Pepper Potts. Tony's with Pepper, and they have a little daughter. And Cap and Tosh and Scott go to him saying, is it possible to do this time heist? That's what they call it, this time heist. And he says he doesn't know, he doubts it, and even if it's possible, he's not going to want to do it because he just want to go back in time and prevent anything that currently has happened in the aspects of which he now has a kid. He has a little daughter. He doesn't want his daughter to cease to exist, so he says no. So they go to Bruce Banner, who found a way to be both Banner and the Hulk at the same time. AKA Professor Hulk, I guess is what it was in the comics. But yeah, it's Bruce's mind in the body of the Hulk. At all times, too. Not just like from time to time. It's mind of Bruce, body of Hulk, all the time. So they go to him to help them out with the whole quantum realm time heist thing. And it doesn't go well. Because Scott is the testing experiment in which he goes back in time and comes back, is what the theory was, but as it was later explained, it wasn't Scott time traveling, it was pushing time through Scott, is what it was stated as he got, younger, older, younger again. Like he went and came back as a teen, came back as a old man, came back as a baby, then went and came back as himself. So yeah. Then Tony agrees because he sees it is possible to go back in time in the way, time travel would truthfully work, in which their theory is of being that you're not going back actually in time, you're going back and going to a different timeline. So you're not going back on your timeline, you're going back and going to, like, say, this is our timeline, this is another timeline. You don't go back in your timeline, you go back into the other timeline. In which they try to, go as a team to get the Infinity Stones, in which there's 3 different teams, because 2 of them teams go back to the same time, in which one is going to the time in which the Guardians happen, in which they're trying to get the Power Stone. They intercept what's Chris Pratt's character's name? Can't remember. Star-Lord, yeah, Star-Lord. They go back in time, time Star-Lord was going to get the Power Stone, which is Nebula and Rhodes, as well as the team of Natasha and Ronan, aka Barton, Hawkeye. They go back in the same time, and this team with Barton and Natasha are going to Boromir to get the Soul Stone. And so they separate. They go back to the plan where Star Lord is getting his stone, which they're going to stop and get it themselves, which they do. And while Natasha and Barton go to Boromir via the Star Lord ship to get the Soul Stone. And they find out from Red Skull the truth of it. Of you need to trade a soul for a soul. In which in this time, instead of it being like how it was with Thanos and Gamora, where he sacrificed her, these two are trying to sacrifice themselves so that the other does it. And in which they do a little bit of back and forth, kind of almost stopping the other from doing it. In which in the end, unfortunately, which was a part that almost brought a tear to my eye, was that Natasha was the one that dies in the end. And this is an unfortunate sacrifice because in the end, she couldn't be brought back. It was like Gamora, who actually is and is not brought back, which I'll just talk about that bit here. Yeah, so Natasha sacrifices herself for Barton, Hawkeye, to get the Soul Stone and to keep him from dying, so that way when it ends and everybody's brought back, he's with his family. And the way it goes about, the reason why I say it almost brings a tear to my eye, because it is kind of similar to how it went with Thanos, which you have the score, you have the same score, and just the feeling overall of when Gamora dies as well as it was Natasha. It's the same score used, so I say it almost brings this to my eye because I have this. It's the same score, it's the same feeling, so it's like I kind of lived through this already. It felt more impacted then than it did now. Not in the aspects of character wise, but more of the just like the score. I think they could have done with a different score. I think would be the only downside for me, at least for this part of the movie. Side note, real quick though, from what I have seen in this movie, is there is a bit of a woman aspects to it, which I think it was okayly done. We'll talk more about it later when it becomes a present thing. But I think with the Captain Marvel character, it was a bit more well done. It was weird seeing her because like after the whole 7 year part, you see her again real quick because they're all reporting to Natasha. It's like it's Rocket and Rhodey, or off trying to find Ronan. No, it's Rhodey's just trying to find Ronan. You have Rocket and Nebula, who are trying to do something as well somewhere. I'm not sure where they were, but yeah, Rhodey's trying to find Ronan, aka Hawkeye. And Captain Marvel, she's off doing her own thing, trying to keep peace through the universe. And once the 7 years goes by, it's no longer the long hair; it's a short hair kind of. It is like I would say, I'm not sure why they went with the whole kind of almost butch look, because it's a butch look. I'm not trying to complain aspects, but it felt weird on like people who were complaining about how she had makeup in the beginning, who would probably still have complaints about it. I would say similar to this part, like how do you go from that to this? Because it's not the aspects of like I don't mind it. It's just I want to know what the decision was. Like just for the most part of the character. Why would she go from that look, the way you see her in the beginning, to this look? I'm confused. That's in the end, character wise. What would the character's motivation to have going from that look, the way she had in the beginning of the movie, to that look, which she has basically the rest of the movie from like that scene and when she shows up again? Like, what was the deciding factor character wise? Would be of why she has that such short, like a real butch look, because like it's not just the shortness of the hair, it's the style of the hair too, dude. You can't see that like hair look and style and not think butch. You just can't, because that's what the style was designed as of look wise through actual history, is to be a butch look. So I'm not complaining that of the look itself, like I said, I'm more curious of the deciding factor character-wise, why she went from the look she had in the beginning to that look. I want to know that, so I can get an understanding point of it all, so I can get a reason why. I mean, I want to know why she went from that look to that look, character-wise. I mean, I guess I would also want to know why, movie-wise too. Like what was the deciding factor to have her start with that look, then have the character go to the next look. What was the deciding factor behind the scenes too? I guess I'm just curious. Like I'm befuddled why such a change. Like you can see, understand why Thor's change happened. What, he let himself go. He grew out a beard. He let his hair grow. You can understand because he felt such utter defeat and just such hatred within himself that he just didn't care anymore. Because there was nothing left for him to do because he just completely failed and he had the chance to stop it all. He had that chance. He was right there when it happened. So you understand why his look went from the way it was, him being buff and just, badass, to him just wallowing in his self pity. What was the deciding factor from Captain Marvel's look herself? This style choice. Because it's such a different style choice. I'm curious to what the choice of the change was. What was the deciding factor to have such a look? As well as Ronan, what, like, you understand his characters wise. What was the choice of his style of a look? His hair at least. 'Cause he's got the mohawk look. Like, what was the style choice there, reason wise? Because like he wanted to like have a actual Ronin kind of look to him or something. Like he knew the history of Ronins and like the certain esque style that would best to look like one. That might be understandable for that character, I would say, if that was the deciding factor. Like that's the actual look that Ronins used to have back in the day in history. And get off that side note. Okay, so yeah, where was I? Oh, yes, time heist. We're about to step into the time heist as Tony figured out what to do, and they're bringing everyone back together, and it was Bruce Banner, Hulk, and Rocket going to get Thor. They convince him to come back because he mainly just drinks beer, and he gets enticed with new, different type of beer on the ship. That's how they get Thor. And I'm sure everybody else comes willingly, being that they see that they have an opportunity to bring everybody back together. Fast forward back again to past when they're doing the mission, because I told you about the heist that of you have Nebula and Rhodey together, you have Natasha and you have Bart together, and the sacrifice. And what happens with Rhodey and Nebula? Rhodey gets he gets the stone. They get the stone because that little portal you see that it's holding it, and Star-Lord gets it via magnet item in Guardians. Well, Nebula puts her mechanical arm through, grabs it, gives it to Rhodey. They're about to pop back into regular time, back when everybody meets back together after getting their stones. And Nebula, unfortunately, gets stopped because when they first arrive, the Nebula during that timeline gets a message stating, there is other people there. Like it looks like it's her memories that she's meeting with Rhodey, but it's the Nebula from the Snap timeline. So we're gonna talk about different timelines there. So I'll try not to be as confusing as possible. If you haven't seen the movie and you just don't care, but you want to hear this as best as I could have, I guess. But they figure out it is a different Nebula from a different timeline, and freaking Thanos gets his ship over to that area, and Nebula realizes that Thanos knows, so she tries to tell Barton and everybody, Barton and Natasha, but he can't get through to them because they're already off the ship and trying to get this Soul Stone. And Thanos gets a hold of the Snap Nebula. he finds, out the truth of it all. He figures out that he, in a different timeline, does succeed in getting all stones and snapping half of the people out of existence and stuff, and sees that others are trying to reverse what he did, or the snap version of him. Captain, Iron Man, and Ant-Man are brought back to the time in which the Avengers first assembled in New York during uh, Loki's destruction of New York and everything, to get the Space Stone, to get the Mind Stone, and to get the Time Stone. So you have Banner trying to get the Time Stone. You have Ant-Man and Iron Man, as well as Cap. So I guess I should preface that, yeah, Banner as Hulk comes back too. So you have 4 people in this timeline to get 3 stones. So Ant-Man and Iron Man are trying to get the Cube Soul Stone. Sorry, Soul Stone. The Cube Space Stone. They have Cap get the Scepter with the Mind Stone, while Bruce tries to go to where he believes Doctor Strange is to get the Time Stone. So I gotta take another drink. This would be the other 3 of the 5 stones. Oh no, this is 6, right? What was the other team? Because I think that's all of them. Yeah, because you have 3 going. Alright, because there's 3 on, 2 on that, 1 on that. Yeah, there's 6 stones. You got the 5 knuckles in the top. Trying to think of the other team. Who is the other team and what stone are they going for? I'll think of it here in a second once I go through, I'm sure, the telling of Iron Man and all what's happening in New York. Iron Man and Ant-Man tried to get the cube. They set out a good plan. Unfortunately, it goes awry, and Loki gets away with that stone. Cap does get his scepter, but not until after he has a fight, really, with himself. Yeah, Cap from the Snap timeline versus Cap from this new timeline. And because he thinks the Cap from the new timeline is the Loki from that timeline instead of actually Cap from the Snap timeline, because he doesn't know. He thinks it's him because as they show stuff going through when when Loki's captured in New York, and they're all just getting stuff taken care of. He transforms quickly via his magic into Captain America and mocks him for something he just said. So Cap thinks it's Loki, not him. So yeah, they fight each other, and Cap gets the scepter. And when Hulk Banner goes to the Sanctum Sectorum, I can't probably say that right ever, to get the I keep saying Soul Stone because it's like it's the so smoothest one of them to say, Soul Stone. He tries to get the Time Stone via Doctor Strange, but he doesn't run into him. He runs into, excuse me, the can't remember the character or the actress's name, but basically the ruler, I wouldn't say ruler, the head magician, a lady from Doctor Strange, the one that he replaces when she dies. She's there defending the Sanctum from all what's happening in New York. And Hulk's like, I need to see Doctor Strange. Like, Doctor Strange over that way performing surgery. He's like, what do you need from him? He's like, I need that. He's like, I can't give you this. This is the Time Stone, and I need it to defend this reality. And they go through a Banner a bit, and Banner tells her that, Doctor Strange gives their Time Stone away in their timeline. And she's like, why would he do that? He's like, Banner's like, I don't know, maybe he got it wrong. No, she's like, no, I got it wrong. So she gives him the Time Stone and says, bring it back, because they have a discussion where it's like, if you take Time Stone out of that time, any Time Stone out of that timeline, it is no longer protected. Their reality is no longer protected. So the plan is once they're done, they snap everybody back into existence. They have to bring the stones back to the moment in which they took them. Literally, the moment. Sorry, throat is a little sore today. So yeah, she gives them the time stone. So yeah, they have the scepter and they have the time stone. So the way that they plan to get the cube, because the way the whole time heist works, again, I probably should have prefaced this before I said everything. They have to use the PIM particles, and they only have a limited amount for this whole thing for everybody. They only had 2 test ones. One jokingly kind of happened accidentally, and then they have 1 use only to get them to and from their timelines that they're going to get the stones. So, being that they have no way to get the space stone without not being able to get back to the timeline, is that they go back to a certain point where Pym is on Shield base, where Cap was trained, to get that as well as the space stone, in which they pull it off, and it's kind of a tearjerker moment in that area because Tony has a talk with his dad, and Cap sees the love of his life because she can't remember the character's name, but she's she was part of Shield, so he sees her there. So you see them both like seeing and like being with this person basically, and and how much they miss him because they're no longer there. And then everybody comes back because they got all their stones, but of course except Natasha, because Natasha's gone, and she was the first tragedy of a character to be gone and never be able to come back. So they get their stones, they put them into a Iron Man gauntlet, and they then discuss who is going to put the gauntlet on to snap everybody back. Now, before this happens, though, during the whole time heist when Nebula is trying to, help Rhodey get the stone and everything, when, like I said, she gets captured. She gets captured by Thanos, the Nebula of that timeline, and Gamora. And the Nebula from that timeline replaces the Snap Nebula, and when they go back in time. The reason I state this is because after they figure out who the person who's going to put the gauntlet on Snap, which was Hulk Banner, which really hurts him because he puts it on and it's just that power surge like you see when Thanos puts each stone on, because he puts 1 stone on each and it's like it's a power surge of each one, and at the end you see a power surge of it all. Hulk puts it on with all of them on. Now I'm trying to again think of like who was the other timeline and stone, because you have the space stone, you have the mind stone, and you have the time stone in New York. You have the power stone, and you have the soul stone of that time of like with Rhodey, Nebula, Natasha, and Ronan. I'll probably just keep calling him Ronan instead of Hawkeye or anything. What was the other stone? You got the mind, you got the space, and you got the soul. No, you got the. Oh, that's right. It's Rocket and Thor. There we go. Sorry, it's Rocket and Thor to get the Reality Stone. There, I got it. I'm sure a lot of you are like, it's this, for anybody watching. It's the Reality Stone in which it's Thor and Rocket, and they go back into when Natalie Portman's character has it in her on Asgard. So they went back in time to Asgard, and it's another kind of tearjerker kind of moment where it's like it's Thor and his mother, and she realizes what Thor that is. She immediately figures out like this is Thor from another timeline, from the future, basically. That's what she says. She doesn't timeline. She says future. So he wants to save her. He wants to save his mother, which is noble. But as she tells him like it's not my future you need to save, it's your future. And Rocket gets the stone, but he's being chased by the Asgardians, soldiers that is. But yeah, they get their stones. Everybody gets back. The snap happens, and immediately Barton's phone rings. It's his wife. So they did it. They brought everybody who was snapped out of existence back. The thing is, while they're doing that, other timeline Nebula puts in certain aspects, and she brings Thanos' ship, that big hulky ship, through time into their timeline. So, like a little bit after the snap happens, Thanos bombards the Avengers complex because he realizes, he wants that gauntlet now that they collected all the stones for him. And the plan is, with him, he's not going to wipe out half of the existence. He's going to wipe out all of the existence this time. As he tells Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America, because they're the ones like at one point face off them together. Oh, quick side note also, Thor brings Mjolnir through time with him. So yeah, he has his hammer. So yeah, so he has both the hammer and the axe. It was a jokey, funny moment when that happened, but yeah, he has both the hammer and the axe. And Thanos just, you saw them like walking up and sitting there. So the thing why that part looks weird, we see like behind the three, is because they digitally took away Thor's hammer because he didn't want to give away that he got his hammer back and brought it through time. Yeah, he has his hammer and his axe. So they're trying to keep Thanos busy while they try to keep the gauntlet away from Nebula and Gamora and anybody else. But the thing is, Gamora from the different timeline talks to Gamora from the Snap timeline about what happens between the two. And she says, I tried to kill you for some time, but after a while, we become friends. We become sisters. And she is convinced, Gamora is convinced, Thanos needs to be stopped. She knew it already, so she gets on the good team side. And then the real big fighting happens. Like there wasn't much. There was more story in this than there was fights. Whereas the last one was more fights with some story, but this was more story and just missions. But when the fighting happens, and there's a good bit of it here at the end, it's just it happens because you have, like I said, you have Iron Man, Thor, and Cap against Thanos. You have Nebula and Gamora versus Nebula, which was a quick shot because like you have first Ronin trying to keep the gauntlet away from the those little weird creatures that were at the end fight on Earth on what was it? It was Black Panther's land, wherever that is. I can't remember. But yeah, it's like it's theirs. Those like creatures that like basically kill themselves to get through the shield. They're there, trying to get the gauntlet from Ronin. And then they were in the sewers, kind of like the underbelly of the Avengers compound. He gets away, sees Nebula like, oh, that's right, I know you. Hands her the gauntlet, and then he realizes from her communications to Thanos like, I got the gauntlet, we're good to go, And as before she can leave and kill, but she's about to leave, but Barton, Ronan, grabs her by the foot and like she just pulls out a gun and like, I will kill you. But the other Nebula, Snap Nebula, and Gamora come up and it's like, you need to stop this. You need to be on the good side. You can't let this happen. But unfortunately, she feels too much loyalty to Thanos, and Snap Nebula kills that Nebula. So yeah, she's dead. Now it's time to play keep away from Thanos, because after a while of some badass fighting that you see, and one badass thing of realizing that Thor truthfully realizes Cap is worthy, because Thor's got like the Like Thanos is strong enough where he's got Thor's axe, like he's trying to push it into Thor in his chest. And you see like this, you see the hammer like come up. Like how's Thor pulling the hammer? You see it hit Thanos off of Thor, and then come back and boom, Cap has the hammer in hand. And Thor's like, I knew it. It's like yeah, such an epic moment. It's like Cap has Thor's hammer. He is worthy. Yeah. So after a little bit of fighting, Thor gets knocked out. Iron Man gets knocked out. So it's Cap with his shield and the hammer fighting Thanos, and it's like it's epic moment, dude. But unfortunately, Thanos is too powerful. The hammer gets punted away. He's using that double blade. He's chopping down Cap's shield, like it's half gone. He just knocks him away. And then you see like this big army, where was it? Thanos says like, I can't wait for you to see what I do to this world of yours. Okay, as he pulled like everybody from his army on that ship just comes out. You know, you got the Chichal, I think is what they call it from the first Avengers. You got those big like kind of worm things coming out and stuff. You know, you have all this stuff happening. And then you you see Cap like standing on a hill against Thanos and this whole army and this backdrop. Everything just looks badass and just epic. Like one man standing against the world, basically, kind of image. And then you hear on Cap's comms like, Cap, you there? And it's freaking Hawkeye. Not Hawkeye. It's what is it? It's Falcon. It's Falcon. He's like, Cap, can you hear me? Like Falk? He's like on your left, and he turns, and there's a portal opening from Doctor Strange, and he opens this portal. Out comes Black Panther, his sister, and the guard. You know, the one that survived from Infinity War. And then all these other portals start opening. You got, you know, Strange and the Guardians and Spider-Man coming through. You got the whole Asgardian army. You have all of the Black Panther's army. Just like you have this epic, badass amount of people just coming through all these portals. And Strange looks at Wong. He's like, "Is that everybody?" Looks at like, "You wanted more?" And then Ant-Man arises because during this whole time, it's like you have Rhodey and Rocket and Hulk underground, like under all the rubble, and it's being flooded in, and there's like Ant-Man comes down to save him. He grows to the huge size that you see from the second Ant-Man movie and Civil War. He grows huge. I think even bigger than like Civil War, maybe as big as he was in a second Ant-Man movie. And then you just hear Cap say Avengers. You got that epic music playing. Assemble. You know, and it's just like it's charged, and Thanos just points his sword, and everybody from that side charges, and you have this big epic battle. It's just amazing. And at this point, Ronan's, of course, you know, he's just trying to keep the gauntlet away from Thanos, and the Hulk's like, we need to get the stones back to their timelines. It's like, well, when Thanos' ship came through, he destroyed the time machine. Basically, it's like, we have another one. He pops open a remote, and you hear dee 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 dee. You know, you hear that fans, the horn. It's like Cap's like, anybody see a shitty brown fan? It's funny. So they're trying to get the stones to the fan, so that way they can get it all, you know, formed. And you know, you have Natasha, you have Scarlet Witch, not Natasha. Sorry, you have Scarlet Witch. Can't remember what the her character other name is, like her regular name. But you have her fighting Thanos. You know, you have all these people trying to get away of the gauntlet from Thanos to the fan, while Scott and the Wasp character, they try to get the whole machine working. Everything. It's just this big epic scene of everything and everybody and whatnot. And Thanos basically tells one of his generals, because like like, cause he comes through with everybody. You have all those like his four main big baddies from Infinity War with him, and he tells one of them, uh, make it rain, and it's basically his ship comes down. His ship's like pulls down all these like pulls out puts like has these like basically missiles. I'm not sure how else to put them. It's like it's kind of like a Gatling gun but big, and where you can only shoot one at a time. It's like you see this just rain of death happening. And you have all these magicians shielding everybody that they can. And it's like it's just this bombardment of death. And then at some point it stops. You just get a silence. You look up, you see the ship. You see all the guns go from pointing down at Earth to forward, and it just starts firing. And just like Iron Man's like, "What's the ship firing at?" And you hear it's like something into the atmosphere. It's like you see it. Captain Marvel comes in, wrecks the ship, and Iron Man's like, not sure if it was Iron Man or Cap. Is like, we need assistance, Captain Marvel. So they have her try to get the gauntlet over to the ship, and like this is the point in which you kind of see the woman scene. You see all these big badass women characters. I think it was a good scene. Show women empowerment. Women can be badasses too. Women can be heroes too. You have all of these different female characters from timelines. You got Gamora, Nebula, Valkyrie. You have the Wasp. You have the main guard for Black Panther. You have his sister. You have all these people here. Saying she's gonna get it through to this machine. She's gonna fly into it and get it all taken care of. And before she can get to the machine, you got Thanos there trying to stop him, and he takes his sword, what remains of it, and he throws it basically kind of at Captain Marvel. She's like close to the machine, and boom, sword hits the machine, blows it up, and it's stopped. Now, Gauntlet didn't get through. Then you have some more fighting, trying to get the gauntlet. Thanos, at one point, does get the gauntlet. He gets it on his hand. You have this fight between Captain Marvel and him, and she tries to stop him, but she gets overpowered by Thanos. But then Iron Man comes in and tries to stop him. He grabs the gauntlet, trying to pull it off, making it used to look like pull off. But he gets thrown away, and Thanos is like, "You should realize I am inevitable," and snaps his fingers. And nothing happens. Because what happened was, with the gauntlet being his Iron Man's tech, he has it move off the gauntlet that Thanos has onto his suit. And after Thanos, snaps his fingers and says, "I am inevitable," Cap shows that he has the stones. He's like, "And I'm Iron Man," and snaps his fingers, killing, dusting all of Thanos' people. They did it. They won. Thanos sits down, dusts away. But unfortunately, it did come at the cost of Iron Man. So yeah. All of that, in the end, is what happened. Thanos lost from Iron Man's snap. That was too much for Captain. I'm gonna say Iron Man. It was too much for Iron Man. That power surge back, of snapping the fingers. In the end, it killed him, and you have Spider-Man there. He's like, "Come on, Tony, it's me. I can't leave. It's just a sad moment." He's crying there because it reminds you of when Infinity War happened and the snap happened there. It's like you have Iron Man seeing Spider-Man just fade away. He's like, "I don't want to go. And he just dusts away. And now you have Spider-Man. And he's seeing the opposite effect now. He's seeing him being sad that Iron Man's dying. Gwyneth Paltrow's character is just like, "If you could please move." It's like, so she's there. It's like it's okay, Tony. We're gonna be fine. You did it. You can rest your eyes now. He dies. He started it all, and he ended it all. And then you have the after scenes of like them, just everybody going back to their daily lives and whatnot. And you hear this talk in the background. It's Tony, and then you get to his cabin that they had. It's like in the end, it's gonna work. It's all gonna be fine. It's like he before he shuts down his helmet and just uh the message ends. He looks up and he's like, "I love you 3000." Something his daughter said in the beginning. So we're at the funeral for Tony Stark, Iron Man. You have all the people there that were there for the journey of it all, just there uh, for the farewell for Iron Man. And that's the part that got me. That's the part is that farewell to Iron Man. That's what got me. Yeah, got a tear to my eye. So after kind of like that, is you have Thor and Valkyrie, where New Asgard is on Earth, and talking like, are you ready to come back? She says to Thor, and he's like, nah. He's like, well, these are your people. They need a king, and he's like, they already have one. And he's like, Valkyrie. So Thor says, you're worthy. You're a leader. So it's Valkyrie who's now the leader of the Asgardians. And Thor's like, I need to find, something. I need a purpose. I got a ship now. He's like, it shows that it's Thor, the Guardians. They have a little banner on there. You have Spider-Man back at high school, seeing his good bestie there, and you have Cap, you got Hulk Banner, and you got Rhodes and Winter Soldier dude. Can't remember that character's name. His his best friends, you have Cap and his best friends and Hulk. Cap's going to take back the gauntlet. Take back the stones as well as the hammer to their rightful time back when they were taken. And Hulk's like, well, it's gonna take however long for him to take him back, but for us, it's gonna be like 5 seconds. And when the time is supposed to come back, he doesn't. And they look off into the water, and there he is. Cap decides to live the life with Peggy. That's the love of his life. Yeah, that's Peggy Carter. So instead of coming back during his timeline, you see him and he's over there. He's old and he lived his life with Peggy Carter. So that's how Cap is being retired. I'm not sure how Guardians is gonna go because it's Thor with the Guardians. So I'm wondering how Guardians 3 is gonna go. But yeah, Natasha's gone, Vision's gone, Iron Man's gone, Cap's gone. So you have basically those 4 fatalities. Because Vision couldn't come back because he wasn't killed via the snap. He was killed via the removal of the stone, the way it was. So yeah, that's it. That's the story of Avengers Endgame. Not sure if there was an end credit scene. If there was, I didn't stick around to see it. And I have things to do and stuff and whatnot. Overall, that was the story. And it was a hell of a story. I thank you for watching. I hope you're informed, possibly entertained, and I hope you have a rocket solid day. A peace.